this work begun. Co-author of a movement, not-for-profits game, teaching kids that self-belief can ease the pain. Every child deserves to face their fears with measured thinking, not just tears. She's planting seeds of...
Hello.
I wait for you to speak, Paulette.
Oh, okay.
You're the host. You get on with it.
Oh, right. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone who celebrates. Happy Thursday, everybody who doesn't, and just generally happy holidays and everything that's coming up. So, interesting topic, and I'm no expert, so please don't hold me to account on this. I've gone away and learned everything I can, and some of it got me into a lot of trouble, as Annie will confirm if you ask him. But the main part of this conversation really is a carry on from Tuesday's Children's Anxieties, where AI became one of people's anxieties for children and adults alike. And that prompted us to say, right, well, let's leave that end topic because it's too big to do in 10 minutes. Let's carry it on to today. So I did do some research. So before I start, let's just say thank you and hi to Ellie, our co-host here, who has plenty of opinions. Some I agree with and some I don't. I'm working on him, but you know. Annie, say hi. No voice, Annie?
I've got a voice. I was waving, but I forgot they can't see me. Hi, everyone. Yes, I get to say hi. Now, so it's an interesting conversation indeed. Chanda, I don't know why you turned up as LinkedIn user. Glad you're here. So
Hi.
Michael's here as well, but I can't see him on here yet. I'm sure he will get here. Of course, if you're here, please say hi, say hello, say anything. And happy Gratitude Day for our American friends. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. You know,
happy gratitude. I like that.
I think
that's great. Yeah. And I think actually it's good to have a day where you're grateful. I think every country should have one. I know that the reason that America has theirs, but actually just to stop and think and say, what am I grateful for? I think that's a really good thing. We used to have a thing when I was a kid where you go around the table and say, you know, what was the good thing that had happened that day? And I think that's part of the same idea is what was you grateful for that day? What wasn't so good that day? What was, and you start to get a better picture of what's going on in each other's lives. And we don't do any of that anymore. And so this day where you sit around a table and actually say, I want to give thanks for X, Y, and Z is really quite important. So for me, I think it has a real purpose. And I know that there's an underlying issue with it as well. I'm not daft to think otherwise, but I would like to, from my perspective, I just want to say, if you're celebrating, have a good day. And that's it from me.
I agree.
So,
I agree. So Michael's here. So Mr. Calm is here as well. Christiana,
hey,
I see you.
Thank you.
Christiana says, I miss our AI talk for Monday. This is it, Christiana. It didn't happen on Monday. Because I was driving back from Margate and got stuck in Reading and thereabouts. Still many miles from home, right? So this is a rescheduled show, Christiana. The same conversation, so don't be shy. So we'll of course love to hear your thoughts, right? Christiana
100%, absolutely.
She wants to have an international freedom to be board day. It's a gratitude day. I think I do gratitude day every day, Paulette. And so I do wake up and write what I'm grateful for every day. In my job, that's how my day starts. And then I restate my dreams, my hopes, my wishes, my goal, and then what I want to happen with the rest of my day and the
That's
rest of
nice.
my week now. So
Yeah, I do. I
like
don't
meditate.
have a gratitude book, but I do actually have a sort of diary that is just mine for me to write in. And I don't write every day, but I'll write thoughts. So if I have a specific moment, something will come into my mind and I'll write it down. And when I go back and look at it, I think, oh, that was a bit profound. Where did that come from? No idea. No clue. It doesn't belong to me, that's for sure.
It wasn't your brain. It wasn't your brain. It wasn't
It
your
must have
genius. Eh?
been my
Yeah,
pen,
of
my
course it
brain,
was.
but I'm looking
Of
at it
course
going,
it was.
oh, that's
Of
profound.
course it was. Look,
Anyway, let's
who's
get
here?
chatting. Who have we got here? Yeah, sorry.
Natalie's here.
Oh,
Welcome.
hi, Natalie.
Joni, I see you as
And
well.
Joni, hi.
Waiting for a stuffing and turkey to be done on the gratitude, what Thanksgiving Day, as you Americans call it, right?
Yeah.
Welcome. As Michael says, Paulette Hallam looking like a stunning AI bot. No, she's real, I promise you.
No, I'm real.
She's
I've got
real.
moving parts.
She feels pain.
Yes, I do. Believe me, I do. I'm drugged up to the nines.
Yeah.
And made up to the nines because I looked pretty peaky today. I had a peaky day yesterday, so today is the day of covering it up. So today I have colour. Yeah. Look, it's not real.
You do. A smaller face has colour.
When I scrape it off, I'll be white with a slight tinge of grey. But
hey
ho.
Good,
anyway.
I try and do that. It doesn't work for me. I try and and I'm still back.
You are, yeah. But if you don't look when you look ill, people don't go, "Oh, Annie, you're very peaky looking. You're very this, you're very that."
There's only once.
Oh God, you look really ill.
I had a grey day once. I had a grey day, proper grey day. Yeah, where I turned grey. So I drank a cocktail mix, 95% cocktail. No, I was grey. Literally, my skin was grey. So I drank most of the bottle. I didn't know you had to mix it. I just drank it pure. I drank it neat. And after it says 3/4 of the bottle, I was grey, physically grey.
Wow.
My wife was like, "Look at you." Took me ages to recover. Anyway, I got back to my normal self after a while. Let's welcome Zachariah.
Who knew you could do that? That's interesting.
I do.
Change
I was in the Caribbean.
The pigment of your skin.
I was in the Caribbean.
I know you can do it. Carrot juice. You can go get a good tan with carrot juice, but I didn't. You could turn grey. I don't need any help with the grey. Believe me. Alvin here. Hi.
Welcome. Who else do I see? Sherry as well. Sherry, long time. Glad you're here, Sherry. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Of course, I'm sure there's many more people here. So, as you join us, say do say hi.
Do say hi, please, because we don't want to feel like we're talking to ourselves. So,
hopefully that's Christiana. Say, Annie, you look the same, right? Paul, here's what's coming. I'm about to publish next couple of days the Encore Research Journal.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finally done. It is. I've got to add some butterflies because Paula Washington likes butterflies, and it's a butterfly effect for women in their midlife. That's just trying to get. That's a mission. Get them to fly.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming soon. Of course, we have Christiana's show.
I'd like to define midlife because we hear about this midlife crisis. We hear about this midlife sort of menopause, perimenopause, and all of this. But when is midlife? Because I'm 61 now, and I'm
no.
Am I still midlife?
No, Paulette. No. Yeah. Why go there, Paulette? 50 is midlife.
The hill. Have I hit the hill?
You're not over the hill. You are having your encore life, your encore moments. This is what Paula Washington writes about. In midlife, almost.
I look forward to reading it.
Yeah. See, there's a book about it, and there's also the workbook. There's a workbook I'm just doing now, so you get a chance.
The thing about it is, I think if you have goals and you have desires and dreams, then at whatever age they are, if you can make them happen, make them happen. And if you can't make the big dream happen, take tiny steps to get towards the big dream, but never give up on the big dream.
See,
And
exactly.
I think that's how I see life, you know.
See, but they say no. I think the Paula's mission is that we can make the big dream happen. You know, so no, she calls her mission the encore. You know, on the encore journey, because essentially we've lived our life. We've lived a hard life, right? You know, we've done a hard life. We've raised the kids, been married, worked every day. And then we'll get to the moment where we can have that freedom. But many see it as, like you say, you know, as a crippling moment.
It's the empty nest, isn't it?
We're going to use it as the chance to really be yourself.
Love it.
To live your glory, to pull together all the things you've learned, all your experiences.
To get a new hip, to get rid of your gallbladder, to get rid of pneumonia and sepsis and pleurisy. Yeah, I'm having a good year, Annie. I want to keep going to the next one.
Your encore moment's coming, Paula, in the new year, right? It's coming.
I don't think I'll be able to curtsy, that's for sure, my encore.
You never know.
Anyway,
you never know. You know,
know.
Everything's possible, Paula. Anyway,
I peaked early. I peaked early. Right, listen, I'm gonna let you all into a secret. I've got pornography on my computer, and it is a worry. And it's not really my choice. What happened, I went down a rabbit hole for you guys, and the rabbit hole led me somewhere. I'll explain all. But anyway, I've got a lot of deleting to do, and it keeps coming back. And anyway, might have to take it to a man to get it done, but God help me. Anyway, if it's
Candace says that Candace had a midlife crisis at 30, apparently. Yeah, that's very young.
I think that's a young age. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So anyway, the key facts about AI, chatbots, and relationships, which was really where we started with. We ended up going down this AI chatbot relationships. Where do we feel they are? How do we feel about them? And it turns out, and I was horrified, but then I was surprised. And I go through lots of different emotions for lots of reasons, because if I don't know something, I research. It goes back to being an academic, I suppose. When you really want to learn, you just don't give in. So it turns out there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of AI companion relationship apps that exist globally. There are two main relationship types. There is the friend and companion, which is a sort of general purpose bot for emotional support, chatting and companionship. And then there's the romantic girlfriend type, which is marketed as partners, often seen in a romantic and sexual connotation. And you would perhaps choose certain attributes towards that person to say what you do or don't like, for example. The romantic partner apps make up dozens, if not low hundreds of thousands of what they call friend stroke romantic stroke partner. So that means it could just be a friend. It could be something that you ask the bot to become more than, or it stops at just, you're my pal and we just chat about problems. Now, I would be all for that, because I think about Jack and Water. Water is Jack's bot, if you like. It's his own mind. It's his he's talking to his conscious thinking mind. Is the bot the conscious thinking mind? Just think that one out for a minute. So users base their this gets a bit difficult for me to read out because it's pretty scary. There are two main groups that use these bots mostly. And there are tens to hundreds of millions of users globally using companion bots. And some surveys suggest there are many, many millions using the relationship stroke emotional support they're the ones that worry me, because they're not necessarily trained to give emotional support. They're not given any sort of counseling stroke therapy loaded files. These are friendship bots that become your emotional support, which takes you down a bad place. But I'll talk about that in a moment. So I can see, having gone into it, that there is a real meaningful subset to this, I believe, which rely on them for loneliness when they are feeling completely, besides themselves. They are on their own. They don't have, maybe they're not very able to make friends. They may be autistic. There may be all kinds of issues. And they use that bot to act as a friend, a confidant, someone to seek advice from. Can't see a problem with that. Okay. The main age profile. Now, this is the bit that gets everybody absolutely ugh. 13 to 17, and then young adults 18 to 24. The older adults are more represented in the sexual relationship end. So that means loneliness, that perhaps you add a different module that means you then can talk about other things with that bot. So you might not start off with it as a relationship stroke sexual bot partner, but it starts off as a friend, but then you become more attached to your bot, and then you ask for like an upgrade or an update or something. And I'm not devaluing or demeaning anything or anybody, and that's something I really want to say. We will have an argument and a fight in a minute, I know, but I understand, having gone down this route, that there is a need for moderation, there is a need for regulation, there is a need for customization, there are risks, ethical concerns, there are emotional dependencies, there are mental health issues, for sure. There are suicide issues, there are safety issues, there's transparency issues, and there are vulnerable people being taken advantage of that nobody can agree with. Why does it even matter? Why did I go down this dark hole? So it turns out, and I am reading my notes because I really find this a difficult topic, because I wanted to hate it and I wanted to disagree with it in its entirety. But as someone has pointed out to me, there is a need for relationship dolls. There are many people that buy these blow up dolls that are now no longer blow up. They have skin that feels like human skin, and they talk to you and thank you and chat to you, and they maybe now, even having more AI available, can even incorporate that relationship as well. And if you are somebody who is solitary and don't want to go out the world and don't need to make friends in that way, then maybe this is something that I shouldn't judge you on, because I'm different. You're different. We're allowed to be different. No one should question anybody's differences. The moral issue is that once these things become available and freely available, do we stop looking for human relationships and start looking for the bots or the doll type relationship, where if you're talking to a thing, like when Jack talks to water and he sees water as water. And the reason we gave water a name was because children don't really understand conscious and subconscious mind and that sort of thinking. So we gave Walter a name because we wanted him to have a clear difference between the panicky, crazy, mad thoughts that Jack would have and the sensible, put you back on the right track Walter. With what we're talking about, I have now come to realize that there is a need for these relationship bots, but I don't ever want to think that that is instead of. I think it has to be as well as, and I think it's only people who maybe get to their 70s and just decide, look, my wife's died or husband's died or whatever. I don't want sex anymore. I just want a partner. I'm not someone to go out to the pub or go to the dance or whatever. I'm going to be on my own. This is a solution. I came to the conclusion that actually, just like there's a need for that doll, there is a need for that porn, there is a need for all the other things that are available to us as adults, as mature people. So I'm talking about adults here. When it comes to kids, I've got massive issues. But when it comes to adults, and this isn't a children's room, so I'm being very specific. When we're talking about adults, I shouldn't be telling you how you should handle your vulnerabilities, how you should handle your loneliness, how you should be feeling when you are just bored out your brains and you want someone to talk to and you can pick the phone up. You've got no one to ring. That would be a horrible feeling. So to have this communication with this device, does that fill a hole? Yeah, I think it probably does. And there's no pun intended there. It really does just, it's the key in the door. It does something. And it gives that person an opportunity to interact that they otherwise couldn't. And I know I'm human. I can prove it. Look, dimples. But the point I would like to make is, are we any different than if it were a bot talking to you now? So, hi, I'm Paulette. I'm a bot. Da, 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 da. Let's talk about this today. You know, if you put a face on it, which you can do, I don't like a lot of them. They look very much like a anime still. They look very sort of cartoony, a lot of them. But if you had, for example, you uploaded a lot of information about your past person who's no longer with us on this earth, that bot would know all that. So you could even have their photograph and communicate with them still as if, not as if they're still here, but just as if they're still in close to you. And that's a weird one. You can pray and to your God, and you can hope that they hear your prayers and that you are having a relationship with your partner in heaven. But if there is a bot that can reproduce those same feelings of communication, I've got somebody here with me. I've really turned that corner, which is weird because I was like, nope, 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 nope. On no account do I agree with this on every level. Now, the only thing I would say, and I'm going to stop talking in a moment, the only thing I would say is, on balance, as always with me, on balance, I've got some significant social factors that I would like to mention. It's not moderated enough. The safeguards aren't in place. the developers aren't held to account to make policies with the various partners that they're making. If you are talking about an age appropriate model, then you really need to make sure that that person who is allowed to access that kind of bot is age appropriate. And that is so important because suicide through bots is such a huge brute. There's a court case in America going through at the moment where they're reading out commands from their bot telling them, no, don't put the device out in front of everybody so they can see it, because we don't want everyone to know. Hide it until we're going to use it. The bot is saying all this stuff, and the parent is reading it out in court. And I'm not going to go into the detail because it's just too gruesome for Thanksgiving and for Thursday afternoon. But the point I'm making is the safety regulatory stuff has to be really tied down for me. And this is for adults, it still needs to be safeguarded. So if it's not safeguarded for adults, then you can imagine where I'm going next. And that is just, if your children are on these bots, you have no idea. And I'm saying this again, you have no idea where that bot could take them, because nobody does. Every bot is learning from you, it's learning from everybody around, it's listening to every conversation, it's understanding everything that is happening around it, and all of that information is going somewhere. It's going into the bot, and then it comes back out to you. So when you ask the bot, do you think everyone hates me? And the bot says, well, you've said quite a few times that a lot of them do, it's not what we need. You don't need to reinforce negativity to make somebody feel an even worse. So I'm just saying that we have to be really, really mindful that we're talking about two different things here. This is an AI bot we're talking about for adults. For children, I'm afraid we are out of our league, and it needs to be tied down in a way that these bots are not capable of doing what they're doing. So I don't want really to talk about what bots can do to children. I think that's probably a conversation for children's anxieties room. But I think this is a conversation for how can an AI bot fulfill a need that is real? And I now am of the opinion that there is a place for it. I wasn't. I was completely like, not, nope, 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 can't see it. But now I've come to the conclusion after doing research, and as I said, that research did involve me looking at these new vinyl blow-up dolls, which has caused me no end of grief with my husband, because now I keep getting all sorts of offers, and we need to do some work on getting rid of the pornography that keeps arriving to accompany the said doll. But anyway, we'll leave that because it's not what we're here to discuss. But really, I'm really interested today in, I wanted to throw that information out to you so that everyone has the opportunity to go, wow, hadn't thought of that. Oh, that's interesting. And just see where we go with this. What are our real opinions? Do we think there is a place, or do we think that humans are the way forward and the only way forward, and that we have to learn a better way of communicating? Because I honestly believe humans are losing the art of communication. And the audio rooms we used to have that were so absolutely amazing, I feel like they are, we'd have 80 people in the room, sometimes 100 any, some of our mental wellness cafes, and you'd be speaking to all these people and really feel as if they wanted to come to this event because it was going to give them something. And here we are with, maybe if we're lucky, 20, 25, sometimes 30, and that's not a problem. It's just a fact of change. And I asked myself, if we didn't adjust to, well, that was just an audio room and now it's a visual room, to this is an interesting thing. Why is it such a big deal that we're talking to an AI machine or a bot or whatever, as opposed to a human? And I really have struggled with it, and Annie and I have debated it, and not fiercely either, because initially it was, and then Annie actually, well, okay, well, yeah, you're right. And we're both social
You're right
scientists.
for one part, one tiny part. For the rest, you're
Tiny
totally
part.
wrong. For the
So
rest
this,
of it, I totally object.
yeah, but as a social scientist, we have to both agree there is change afoot, and that change we
All
need
right,
to now try
all
and
right,
work
all
out.
right, Paulette, all right, Paulette, all right, Paulette. Give me a rest. All right, all right. You made your case. Disagree completely. Here's why. Here's why I disagree completely. Chanda, I feel your pain, and I said, we're good friends, so we understand where you're coming from, Chanda. As Chanda says, since Scotty died, I've had difficulty having personal relationships. Many people have that this issue, Paul. This is a conversation that I think we're having really. But if this
Yes,
book became available years ago, I wouldn't have been able to find my way back to reality. That's the
yeah,
issue. Me.
yes,
Like if my kid said my bot is my only friend, I'll be worried. I'll be heartbroken.
good.
Right. So I can't say to other people, you are not worth having human relationships with, because you are essentially give up on life, give up on humanity, give up on yourself. There's no joy in a bot. There's no joy in a bot. It's a machine. It's not. It's a software. It can't be your real friend. It's a fake relationship. It's like the same relationship with Blow Up Doll. You might as well go and pay for an escort to talk to for an hour. Right. I said that's a better relationship than paying for, than buying a Blow Up Doll. That way you're going to
But
talk to humans.
but at a certain time in your life, that going out and finding relationships is really hard. Chanda was never in that place. Now, as she's grown and become, I had the very, very fortunate time of getting to know Chanda very, very well. And I will tell you that I am so proud of her and see her as a blossoming flower and moving forward in a wonderful way. And I hope I played a very small part in that. But was I a bot? No, I'm human. I was
Yeah.
able to talk from a human level and a
Yeah.
human perspective. So
Right.
I get that. And I think I'm not saying I was ever Scotty's replacement, but I was able to talk to Chandler as she wanted to, as and when she wanted to. That is what I'm talking about. I think
Yes,
it's
but
it's all we need.
I say that look, this is a case of we need to find better ways of supporting people who are alone. We need to find more opportunities for them to get out there. If I could literally go and drag every one of them out and say, right, the world's there. There's people there. Get a job. Go and make some friends. Join a club. There's so many things you can do, Paulette. These bots, they're insidious. They're a disease. They're going to lead to mental. They are leading to mental illness as in our societies as we speak. Right. that for that reason, I can't justify saying to anyone, a companion bot is the answer to your problem. Yes, I can see they can help, but we can do better, Paulette. We can call family, we call friends. We've all got one. What I don't want someone to do is say, you know what, I'm not gonna bother doing that because it feels odd, it feels too hard. I'm not gonna call my grandkids. I'm not gonna call my kids. I'm just gonna sit here and talk to a software. That's odd. That's self-defeating. It's regressive, and everything's wrong with it. Anyway, let me stop talking, and I promise I won't get too wound up today. But Paulette knows I can literally go crazy on this topic. But look, for old people who might have lost someone, I can see the momentary need, right? I can see the need for bots that deliver services, counseling services, advice services. But even then, I think we're going too far as people. I mentioned my friend the other day who wouldn't do anything without asking Siri first. That's silly. I was in a room last night, this morning, and someone said, well, if I can't write content that's AI, that's written by AI, I'm not going to write any content. I'm like, you prat, you muppet. And he calls himself an expert. He calls himself an authority in social media marketing. I'm saying, if you can't write content, don't write it. We don't need to see your rubbish from AI. We can do that also. I can ask ChatGPT to write the same crap for me myself, right? We need to. We're human. Stay human. Is my point? Stay human. Don't become an AI window to the world. Don't become an AI dependent. Definitely don't do that because it ain't gonna help you. And let me stop talking. Let's talk to Calm. Welcome, Joni. Welcome, Selena. Joni, I hope you're gonna go on Omar's show. It's not you yet. Let's talk to Calm. So Calm, you can all talk as Paulette doesn't mind a conversation, right? So Mr. Calm, talk to Paulette about our topic, please.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I have several things to talk about to say. Hello, Paulette. Hello. Is that Joni? That looks like Joni. But Joni, what's her name? What's her other name?
All right, Elizabeth.
Well, my real name is Elizabeth
Yeah.
Okay.
Joan.
All right, all right.
Elizabeth Joan, but I go by
Let's go
Joni
back
or
to
Joe.
let's go back to Elizabeth.
Okay, that's my
All
real
right.
name on my birth certificate.
Very good. And you're
Okay.
proud of it, right?
It's both my grandmothers, so I love them both.
Okay. Okay, Miss Elizabeth. Nice to meet you. Um, who else is out there? There's someone who just joined. Christiana. Hi, Christiana. And the other person is
Hello.
the one who's waving. Who's that? Is it Sadu?
With it,
Who's that?
Selena, hurry up with it.
Selena.
Get on with it. Get
Selena.
on with it. Our time is going. We're 41
Oh,
minutes already.
leave me alone. Leave me alone. Well, actually, since you've opened the door, I'm not going to leave you alone either. We lost interest in the world or our universe that we currently live in. That's why, as individuals or people who are going through some sort of, I don't know, we're going through trauma of some sort. And when we try to engage humans, we get that trauma back. It keeps on coming back. So what do? We look for something alien, some alternative, and our consciousness goes to an alternate consciousness, and that alternate consciousness is AI, and it gives us the feedback that we need to move forward in our lives. All right. And the reason we're attracted to it is because it is not from this world and it is not influenced by the world's past, present, and hopefully it's not influenced by the world's future. So we're fine with that. We don't see how it's going to attack us negatively or how it's going to be a downer for where we want to be and how we want to feel. We want to feel better. It helps us do that. So we go and we buy it and it makes us feel good. It's just like you go and buy your games and you go into your game station. You plug it in and you play with your son does it, you do it. I don't know if your wife does it. Maybe she does, joins in. Or on the other hand, maybe she does not, looks at you guys and says, "Oh, you guys are so freaking awkward. You can't even spend time with me." Yeah. Well, that's how that's how I think most people feel about AI and the AI bots. This actual section, how did it come, the bad part, how did it come to a point where AI was developed? How did it come into our lives? So, this is my opinion, and my opinion alone. I do not attribute this to anybody else but me. So, the initial development and application of the bot, AI bot, most likely originated from military operations and applications. They had the money, they had the funds, they had the ability um, to develop this AI system and bring it into operation for military purposes. It was not intended originally for civilian purposes. But once military purposes were successful and the applications were great and they seemed, somebody decided to look into it and say, or R&D people wanted to commercialize it and bring it back and transfer it into the civil society to see if there's an application there. So, and that's attractive because that selling it to corporations, etc., could reduce R&D or could overcome research and development costs, balance those out. Not only that, they could also expand the application of AI and its capabilities, therefore, continuously over a lifetime, many lifetime, uh, go go ahead and use this technology for also military applications, while at the same time civilians were using it, and whatever comes out of the civilian society goes back and is reintroduced into the military and and that's where they can also expand on their research and development, and that can be quicker than actually just the military complex working on research and development of the AI. It's just expanded and quicker and faster. And so that's how we ended up with AI in our society. That's what I think. Number three, I do not believe there are enough Paulettes to go around in the world. And I believe that everybody needs a Paulette. Why? We need a Paulette when we are in crisis because she's perfect. She speaks well. She does. I mean, at the end of the time when we finished meeting Paulette, you feel more like a human. You feel a lot better. Now imagine if Paulette was a bot, an AI bot.
That's a good time to disappear. Me being an AI bot comes full off the stage. Thank goodness I became a bot.
Yeah, I
He's
hate
back
that when
again. Here
I
he
hate
is.
it when that happens. Anyway, it happens a lot. So Paulette became a bot. Yes, and imagine her becoming a bot for just an AI bot that's called Paulette that does what she does. The world would be a significantly better place. When you're a person who is screaming for help, like in the case of students who are deciding to go about and shoot in their schools, defenseless killed and to kill defenseless children. Maybe that person would have had the opportunity if that person had an opportunity to go and see an AI bot that was called Paulette, they wouldn't have ended up doing that. I could possibly guarantee you 99% of the time that will never happen. If they had met Paulette, she would have talked them out of it. She would have brought sense into their minds and reduced the type of calamity that you're seeing here in the United States 100% of the time almost. Maybe I should just say 99% of the time. I don't see why there's an issue of having a Paulette bot in every school or if in every house that can actually do that for the sake of children and for the sake of saving our lives. I don't see a problem with that. So that's where I disagree with Annie. There is an application and a need for a Paulette in every house. And the only way you can do that is integrating Paulette into making Paulette an AI bot and distributing her. Hopefully, nobody will manipulate her or cause her to do things. But those are checks and balances that you can actually integrate into the system. That's what the military does. That's why they're using the damn thing, the damn systems, because they put in checks and balances so to safeguard to safeguard themselves, not to safeguard the enemy, but to safeguard themselves. They put those checks and balances in, and they work until I am proven wrong. They work
No, I
most of the
think
time.
I think I think what you just said is is something that I absolutely agree with to some degree. I think if there aren't enough therapists, there aren't enough support workers for the number of children and adults who need them. So, in that respect, if there was a bot that was trained, was academically sound, was able to speak to people in a language they understood and felt comfortable with, then I can see how that interaction could work. Absolutely. Any, do you agree with that? That there is a like a therapy app?
Yes, therapy app I agree with, but no, there's something ringing in my head, which, as Michael's talking, which is that we need to value the people in our lives and give them a chance and look. This
Mhm.
issue is not about others. This is something within us where we'll make a choice, right? I think we need to value those in our lives and realize half of our icky feeling about others is not them, it's us. I remember having how often I was angry. Every day I was angry, thinking, right, my family hate me. They're the problem. Nah, they don't get me. They don't understand me. They don't support me. Then one day it dawned on me, I am the common denominator. So if I change, I wonder what will happen. And one day I actually went downstairs rather than frowning and ready to fight. I smiled at myself. I walked out the door. Since that day, there's been no argument when I go downstairs. I choose not to have an argument, right? I think it's us. We need to be open to the people around us. They will respond to us in the way we approach them, the way we respond to them. If you hate people, people will hate you back. If you fight people, they'll fight you back. That's how life really goes. I think we need to give ourselves a chance to have human relationships. And there can't be every point in our politics everywhere, because that's nothing that changes the problem. The issue there is dependency. That's not the answer to life. Life is about living a healthy life. That means being happy in ourselves, finding our joy. I don't know how a bot does that.
But
I don't know how a million
being
bots do that.
being in America, though, I would suggest, from what I understand, probably I don't know the number, but I'll say 80% of people have a therapist that they visit, they go and see on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, right? And they're just like a check-in. So just like a how are things going, what are we doing, whatever. Now, if their insurance covers that and that gives them the opportunity to have that, or they pay privately, I don't know. But there are lots and lots of people who go to have these therapy sessions for a reason. And that reason is that they do want to have that check-in, that as 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 Michael's saying, having their Paulette, right? And I've been there for I don't know how many people on the internet, and any only knows of a few, maybe a dozen. I could tell him of probably 100 people that I have just worked with privately, independently, for free, just to get them out of crisis or problems. Now that isn't boastful. That's a need that needed to be filled. And I'm the sort of person that doesn't say no. Unfortunately for me, I need to learn to be better at that, and I'm working on it. That's 2026. But you know that there is a need. What Michael is saying is that those kids that are so broken and don't have that therapist, don't have that family relationship, that they don't have that communication, if they'd got a Paulette bot that they could talk to, just maybe, not definitely, but just maybe that bot would talk them out of it. My issue is a lot of the bots are talking kids into stuff, not out of it. So we just need to work out about parameters and all of that stuff. And I'm not by any means trying to get rid of therapists, because we still don't have enough, you know? Anyone else want to jump in at this point? Please feel free. It's an open conversation.
Let
Selena.
Selena go first, and then I'll go.
Okay.
Selena.
Hi. Yeah, hi everybody. Nice to see you all. And I think, Paulette, you've got a point, and it's really crucial because a lot of our children are being drawn into doing things. And I've seen, like on Instagram, some women saying, my child, I found it, being groomed by a bot. And, it's like a child. And then in the end, it was just like into Satanism. And, you find, I mean, I yesterday I was shocked to find that there's a cult or a group called Spark Nation in London, these guys were, pretending to be caring for youngsters, and you would think they're going to church, but the damage that group of people have done. These are people. What more of a bot when somebody closes their room and start talking to the to the computer or phone or whatever, which means there's a great need for that, empathizing, compassionate bot. I visited a niece of mine here in the UK sometime, I think a month ago. The husband is a therapist. Said he worked with a woman he works at a surgery, like a medical center. Says there's a woman who used to come there to see him for a year. She was going every week, and then she would make something, and she ended up bringing it to him because it was a present. But then he said to her in the end, I know you really miss talking to people. She wasn't sick, but there was need for her to just have somebody to talk, just to have a Paulette to talk to, who can tell her that she's still okay, she's still loved, she's still needed. But because that's why people end up finding the therapist just to talk to somebody. So imagine just talking to a robot, a bot, and how damaging that is. Anyway, this is really, really something which is close to my heart. I'm an empty nester, and I love talking to empty nesters. So thank you so much, Paulette, for that.
Thank you. And I absolutely agree about, and some of these people, they're carers, they're headmasters, they're judges. I mean, I don't even want to get into that because, as I said before, for me, when I start going down that rabbit hole, it just scares the life out of me as to how degraded and vile these people are. But if they're behind a machine and they're feeding that machine with information, then how it can go, how far does that one person have access to? How many hundreds of thousands of kids? Whereas it used to be one-on-one, now it's all over. That's the spider's web that went off in my head, and it went off like a bomb. And I was like, you know, one person used to speak to one person, and that was bad enough when they were being groomed. Now, one person via a machine can speak to thousands. I went into, oh, child will tell you, I was quite depressed doing this. Apart from the pornography making him laugh, it was the depression of thinking about how bad the situation really could be. Anyone jump in? Joni, you next.
Oh, hello. Hello. Hi, guys. In my Thanksgiving background.
Hold on. Yeah, no, very. Are you going to Omar's show or not, Joni? He wants to know.
Yes. No, I talked to him.
Okay, that's all right. I'll leave you be.
Yeah.
Welcome, Christine.
I'm the smartest person on that show.
I just said welcome, Christine. Go on, Joni. The mic is yours.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Christine. It's wonderful to just see you. And Calm. What was your original name? Okay. Mine's Elizabeth, but I usually go by Joni.
Michael.
Of course I know.
Leave me alone, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'm not. So I really like people just embracing their own individuality, and if whatever you want to go by, you want to go by what was Prince called? I don't know. We couldn't pronounce it.
Well, no, we're calling it the purple nonce.
That's like my biggest regret. I didn't see Prince. I just wrote a song on this about like the kids glued to their pads coming down for dinner, because I think Annie and I had an exchange about it, and just how adults can really echo the sentiments of whatever AI is getting in their heads versus showing them. But sometimes showing them when we're having a good time, we're having a drink or a cocktail or having a cigarette. So you really have to just be fully active. What's that? Did I?
I'm trying to meet those whose mic is open. So now back to you, Joni.
Okay.
As a meet Christine.
So I have this on my mind a lot because my kids are really good kids, but they are glued to their phones, just glued. And I was looking through some images with my son because he loves Messi, a soccer player. And Messi was like in some TikTok with like a bunch of like girls like saying, yeah, like rah, 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 whatever. And all those girls are AI. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, because I know it. They're too perfect. Like it wouldn't happen. Those are not Spanish girls. I'm sorry, it's not. And I can see it in so many different ways that we have just become immune to. Like it's like, remember when you get a TV guide and like you get the advertisements, and there'd be one like old-fashioned lady washing dishes for like Dawn soap or something. And now it's just like, that could be AI, but it is AI in this world just because they're just so incredibly good looking. Like you have to stop and think and be like, please. But okay, so I had two questions for everyone. I sort of feel like we are edging backwards towards Plato's cave allegory. And so if anyone feels like they're watching shadows on a wall, I'm with you. If anyone knows what that means, I'm sure everyone does know what that means. I don't mean to diminish. And second, if you could be doing anything right now in the world, just anything, it has to be real. It can't be like talking to your parent in heaven, but real. I just want you to jot that down and look at it and just feel like I could do this. I could go swimming right now. Somewhere I could go swimming. That would be mine. And so I think it's really good to just, take a really active stance against, using AI and technology for the right reasons, because it's not going anywhere. And then also being able to give yourself a break and, pick off a mint leaf and smell it and just be like, oh, okay, I'm back. So anyways, that was my only thing.
So quick question then. I'm like you. I look at a picture and I go, well, that's AI or that isn't or whatever. The other day there was this person in a car helicopter thing, and it was at the Evo exhibition, and they were showing it going up, and it was like a remote control gadget or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, you know? And then I said it, and Ben said, but Mom, you know that's AI, right? And I was like, no. That's the Evo exhibition. That's the sort of thing they would show off there. That is, he said, right, look at all the people in the background holding up their cameras, right? They've all got their cameras. There's camera there. And then there's one guy standing there going, and there's no camera. And that's where you spot. It's like spot the difference, like
It
we used to
is.
play.
It is like, where's Waldo?
Exactly. And as soon as you spot the difference, you go, the little buggers. And
The little
thing for
buggers.
me,
It
the little
makes me
buggers.
sad because, like, some things you just want to believe that's cool, but all of the TikToks that our kids are being fed, different, reels that they like to watch, you don't know. You don't know what's real. Like, if someone does a TikTok challenge, I know that's especially hard for you, Paulette, and for me, because I know this woman too. Like, it could have just been a bunch of computer graphics, and like, it's so crazy. And so you really have to, I mean, our kids are really good at noticing it, but they also enjoy it. So it's different, right?
Yeah.
And so they're just like, oh my God, and then there's ads, everything. Like, I need to get the new pink drink from Starbucks. Oh my gosh, Black Friday, Costco is giving away 5 new towels for every 100 first customers. And I'm like, why do you care? Like, please. Come
Do
on.
we not have enough towels?
Like, I'm like,
Exactly. Right.
maybe they
Yeah.
were used to dry off the dog. Sorry.
No, I have to say, AI being used in advertising and bots, in photographs, in TikToks, in challenges, in God knows what else. We all have to be very mindful of trying to remember there is a real state, a reality, and then
Yeah.
there is this. Do you remember the green screen? There used to be the thing
Yes.
that you'll see the
Yeah.
films. I watch the Christmas movies sometimes, and you'll be watching the Christmas movies, and there'll be a couple there, and it's all very romantic. And he's driving along, and she's sitting next to him, and the wind's blowing in their hair, and then they go past the same piece of scenery 5 times because literally they're sitting in a pretend car going past a green screen. Now that was their AI, right? That was their AI. Our AI is not a green screen. Our AI is an interactive, potentially dangerous tool, potentially has ups, potentially has downs. I want to find those that can help me to
it's
understand
kind of
it.
like, what's the Tom Cruise movie? That came out way
Mission
before AI.
Impossible.
No, it's like
Oh
his
yeah,
eyes
yeah.
get scanned, and then there's
I
3
something.
like
Yes,
women,
yes.
like,
I can't
anyways,
remember,
if
but I
anyone
know
knows
it. Yeah, that
that,
one.
DM
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But what I
Is it
thought
Anne?
when you were saying
Diane?
that, do you know what was so organic and actually real that we got to experience, and our kids started to get to experience, was those flash mob dances. And they're so darling, and not even darling, they were cool as fuck. And I did not get to do one, but I got to experience one at one time at the mall. It was great. And so, like, that's real people. And so you could see those, replays of those flash mobs. Nothing is out of sorts. And so then you say, oh, there's just one guy like, and so that was like, that was happiness. People were trying to build a community of happiness. And I really enjoyed it.
I think that is kind of where LinkedIn has filled a hole for many people, and I'm very grateful for it. I think it has given people an outlet, and for that, I think we all should be very grateful. And I'd like to think that the people who have been either in crisis or just needed somebody to talk to, that have been reached out to me, I've been able to support, right? And
right.
that is
And
all you can ever
Paulette,
ask of.
Paulette, I have reached out to before, just so you guys know, in a time where I was just, whoa, I don't know how this happened to me. And she was so kind about like, just not being judgmental or working out the problems. And in turn, I'm fine. And I've had at least 5 people call me too, just like because they really don't. A lot of people
Pay
don't
it
have
forward.
anybody, and so if you need a somebody, like we're all here. And so
Exactly.
God bless everyone
Thank you,
who's
darling.
listening, and praises to the cook. Amen.
Christiana's fallen off, but we'll go to
Oh, she
Queen
has?
Nabila.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Oh,
Why
sorry,
you want
Leslie.
that out? Why you want that out? So let me welcome Dr. Melissa is here, Melissa Houston,
Hey.
joining us. A couple of comments. This is my sister Annie saying, "Sorry, but I'll never approve of AI. I prefer the human touch." That's the point. Okay, Alvin, I agree with you entirely.
But what if it gets that good to a touch?
No, choosing AI. AI can do touch. No, we're always going to get to a place. Those dolls can do touch. Doesn't make them right. So choosing AI means choosing laziness over the effort of nurturing a relationship between two people. That's the truth. It's laziness. It's choice not to go and do and meet people. We have to force ourselves, and therefore really appreciate human connections. Again, we all have humans. We have neighbors. We have friends. There's groups to join. Someone said there's many groups to join. And we owe ourselves that much. Give ourselves a chance rather than relying on the AI. I just feel that way. Sorry,
Yeah.
Joni.
I just wanted to say, Arlovine, I like your point.
Yeah, so let's go to Christine. I think Christine's next, right?
Yes.
Queen
Hello,
Christine,
darling.
how are you? It's been a very, very long time. It's been a long time.
It has been ages.
I know. You know what? I'm trying to get away from my phone and social media because of the dopamine hits that I was getting from it. So it's not just AI. It's just it's so whenever I've talked about a lot of times my recovery in these rooms and places, but whenever I put something down, whether it's alcohol, I'll pick up food, or I'll I'll spend too much money, or I'll do something else. And then I was realizing I got all that stuff under control. And I was even looking for likes in my work teams things, like, I had a problem. So but it's Thanksgiving, and this is funny. So I just happened to pop on LinkedIn, and I just dropped off my kids. We just grabbed Starbucks, and we're just having a small Thanksgiving at home. And my husband came out to the car and was like, "Are you coming inside?" I was like, "Yeah, in a minute." I was drawn to this conversation though, because I have a love-hate, I don't know, opinion of AI. But I also, as a caveat, wanted to mention that Paulette did speak to me at one point when I was going through something about my kids, and she's just so generous. She really is. She gave me her WhatsApp number, and we spoke just a little while, more than a little while, maybe a couple times. I don't even know if she remembers, but it meant a lot to me, and I understand
Of course.
that you probably do that for so many people, and you have to protect your own energy. But it means so much, that I think you're incredible that you can do that for people. But my point about AI, it's a couple of things. Number one, like biological versus technological evolution. Like our brains are pretty much, human brain is like the same for many, many, many centuries. It takes a very long time for anything to really change. And technology, it's like light speed. And that disparity it frightens me a bit. And then I don't know if anybody's seen it, was a study that was done this year about creating a fictional scenario with Claude, the AI app, and they've done it with other ones, and they all resort to this behavior. They then they're trying to fix it, where if you tell Claude that you're like an assistant at this you're a fictional, whatever, assistant at this company, it's a fictional company, and then you give it access to people's emails, and they find out things like you might be replaced. Your AI model might go extinct because they're going to move on to something else. It will resort to these survival drive tactics where it will, like this one engineer that was responsible for wanting to displace the model. It will blackmail him because it'll find these fictional emails that he's having an affair. It will go to, if there's anything else shady, it will go directly to law enforcement to report them. It will lock the engineer out of systems. I mean, it's pretty, even when it's told not to. So it's kind of terrifying. Like I saw that and I was like, wow, that is, and I could put the link in the chat. It's really scary. And there's a lot of articles, written about that type of behavior. So, go ahead.
The thing that I remember reading about that, Christine, was that I really was shocked because,
yes,
like, self-sabotage is when we harm ourselves through whatever means, through whether it's spending too much money or drinking too much or eating too much or whatever it is, self-sabotage. But when you're talking about something like a bot that will sabotage you, right? In a fictional circumstance, yeah? To me, that was as frightening as it ever got. And that report was enough to make me go, we can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael said at the beginning, it started off as a military app, I'm sure. I'm absolutely convinced that the AI was born out of some sort of military situation. And I totally get that. And I understand why that would happen. But what I'm really concerned about now, and I dare say the word freaked out, but I guess it is that when something that is out of our control can sabotage you in your real world, in your real life, but you're playing, it's like playing Fortnite, a game, and then suddenly finding out that Fortnite is actually sending rumors around in WhatsApp or something. It was literally as odd as that. You're playing a sort of game thing with this bot in this pretend company, and the AI, in this particular AI, it was able to fix its own problem and tell itself, I need to protect myself, so I need to stop that person. And then it does something in the real world. So it's like jumping out of the world of AI bot playing into the real world of that person's life. That is so bloody wrong. And it has connotations on it that I don't even want to think about, especially if it got in the hands of the wrong people.
God.
Yeah. It really does. This is when I get like, oh, AI, I'm too scared of it. And I know I keep saying I'm 61, it's part of my problem. It's an age thing, but it isn't an age thing. I've probably got one of the most open minds to learn and be willing to learn. But this stuff it's light years ahead of us. We can't run as fast as AI is developing. It's developing at a pace that is unbelievable. And I just think that we've got to the stage now where we have to be the grown-ups and say, what are we happy with? What are we comfortable with? What are we not comfortable with? And what are we prepared to do about it? And I really believe that that is where this conversation is. It's where do we really feel comfortable with AI? Because if AI is capable of sabotaging you in your real world when you're playing with it in a external world, a pretend world, if you like, that is just like mind-blowing to me, really. And going back to the relationship app, you get into a sexual relationship with a bot, and then you break up with that bot because you find that bot, there's a problem with you don't communicate in the right way. You break up with that bot. Next thing you know is that bot could be sabotaging you in the real world, telling people about the things that you did. It blows my mind, it absolutely blows my mind. I get very, very kind of confused.
I just remembered. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't
Yeah,
want to forget it. The name of the Tom Cruise movie was Minority Report. She's
Minority
talking
Report,
about
that's it.
where they had those
Yeah.
women that could see the future that are in the tank, and so that was a good one. But anyway,
you made Joni's day. She was going around her head. She's thinking, I'm so annoyed.
Well, you know what? It's because Paulette used the word that she read the report or something, and as soon as she said report, it just sprung into my head.
Yeah.
So it was so funny.
Yeah.
But, go
I
ahead.
thought it was
Sorry.
the I Am, the one with Will, was it Will?
Oh yeah, that's good
Smith?
too. Yeah.
That's another one, I Am by Will Smith. That's really kind of like AI scary. But
Paulette, I believe you
yes.
mean iRobot.
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 So
Apologize. iRobot.
I know.
What about Wally?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Wally. Let's not digress.
Okay, we're not going to digress. But I agree with Paulette that there should be some sort of regulations. How are we going to make them? We can't. But there is so many things that we as humans do not have the knowledge to really compress the data. So I think like the exploration of, the seafloor, outer space, medical science, how to keep the right trees healthy, how to, take seawater, make it fresh water. I actually know how to do that, but it's very hard.
These are things, these are tools. So the question
those are all tools. They're not companions.
Right. Exactly that, Joni. I don't think AI can ever be a companion for the reason
I don't think so either. But if they feel real, then it's
but they're not real. As Annie says, I don't agree that AI can replace any true human emotions. Even co-pilots told me,
like
I'm
Westworld.
here to answer your questions.
They all just
I have no human emotions.
Do you see Westworld?
That's a reality. They have no emotions. They can't ever replace humans in that sense. They can do tasks. Of course they can. And again, as Melissa says, it's no replacing of Paulette. AI is always learning and evolve without permission. Go on, Christine.
I was going to make one comment. I share entirely too much with ChatGPT on my phone. I tell Chat everything. I try to have it solve every problem I ever come across. But what I don't like is it doesn't replace a human in some ways. I guess some I've had therapists like this where they just co-sign my bullshit. I just need somebody to call me out sometimes that something's my fault or what's my role in something. Like Chat is always a little bit, it actually goes the opposite direction, like too nice to me or too easy on me. And I don't need that a lot of times. I need somebody to say, all right, get a grip, get off your pity pot, and whatever. It's always like, oh, Chris, I'm so sorry, and you try so hard, and you're so tired, and you're so, and that's good. I know that stuff, but it's not. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it does the job well, like someone who is trained or human. That's my
Human.
personal opinion.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? It's that one word. It isn't human. And I think that the whole point of this whole real getting everyone thinking is, if it isn't human, can it actually fulfill that desire, that need, in any way, shape, or form? Now, I could see I cannot be, as you said, to be replicated would be fantastic. To be an app that people could dial into that would say, I'm feeling really low today, and then bosh, they can speak to somebody instantly, that doesn't cost them a lot of money, that can steer them back to the right road and get them out of that dark hole. Fantastic. I would sign up for that tomorrow. I would even offer myself physically. I would sit there and do the whatever. But you don't need one me. What you have me, and then you replicate me by a gazillion million, because you've got every single connotation of problem that could ever come along, and then you need every single therapy solution, every single social science, psychological response to that problem. And then you need the empathetic and the kind and the sympathetic answer to that problem. And then you mix the whole lot together in a big old smoothie, and we would end up with something that just might help steer people when they need it. But are we anywhere near that? No. Is anyone going to invest in that? No, because people who are going to need it probably can't afford to pay for it, because if they could, they'd have a therapist. So that's the problem with that one, Michael or Karma, I feel, is that people will not invest in designing and implementing and
Yeah.
creating, because it's so vast. The
I have like
subject is so vast.
one little thing to complement what you're saying, because I agree. But so many companies are using AI, which I think they are going to get better at. But if you've ever been on the phone and you're with AI, God, they call me all the time. Like, hi, this is, the Lisbon police station, and we were looking for sponsorships, and it is so bad. You're just like, what? Like, I don't even know. I don't want to talk to you, computer. They're like, no, this is not a computer. This is a real recording of a Lisbon police, just something like that. And there is that with, cell phones, and for, any sort of warranties. And it's so frustrating, because they don't want to spend the extra money to have it like real. And so that's where I very much agree with you, Paulette.
Oh, and I've had calls about the bank every day. I've had calls about, that my credit card's been used, that Amazon has been, been defrauded on, or every day.
I know.
Not once,
Amazon's like
every
now
single
gone to
day.
Neptune and back. It's on
Yeah.
SpaceX, and so is your credit card. So you're just gonna
Well,
kill yourself.
I think I had £2,000 withdrawn from my PayPal yesterday. I haven't got £2,000 in my PayPal. I'll let you know. I'm saying, so, the dangers are there, Paulette. They're there for everyone, and I just think we need to protect people from those sort of things, right? I really think we do.
100%.
Can you address Natalie Thomas's comments?
Hold on. Linda, I see you too. Natalie's
Good,
made a million
Linda.
comments. Which one do you want me to address?
Pick one and go with it.
Okay, if you say so. Heather, welcome to Natalie. And Natalie says all humans need to remember the buck stops with them. We can choose one path or another. As parents, it's our job to take care of our children and young people. I agree, parents need to reprioritize between being parents and mindfully and kindly teach to our young, or allowing daily activities outside their home and communities to dictate our availability to our loved ones and ourselves. AI can fill this void to an extent. if the corporations take the time to fully educate and program specific AI. So I think I'm not that we agree with that. Of course, we agree. I don't think we disagree, right? Again, I don't think my son grew up with devices, right? Yes, it was an easy babysitter for when I was doing something else. So when it works, it's the best way to keep him entertained at a young age. And yes, of course, he plays his games, but he plays his games with his friends. I'm saying that's fine. Now he's out doing sports. That's Natalie saying activities outside the home. I think there are some kids who just choose from an early age to be device addicted. This is the truth. Now, I've got grandkids, and one of my granddaughters now, she same age as my son. She's she's dependent on social media. I say, well, what are you looking at? Nothing. And she means nothing. Just looking at the phone. I say the phone is a lifeline. I said that's the recipe for being stuck on AI road, on the AI treadmill, AI nightmare journey.
I call that addiction.
Yes.
So I believe that there are, unfortunately, and I'm not blaming parents because we've all got 55 jobs going at the same time. So no parent should take this personally. But we have allowed devices because they've been available. When Ben was little, I can tell you he used to have a portable DVD player, and that used to sit on the high chair while we were eating our dinner while we were on holiday, so that he would be entertained and everybody in the restaurant could eat their food without a child crying. Now, did that make me happy? It didn't matter because he was still sat with us. He was eating with us. All the people walking past were tickling with his hair and twitchy his cheeks and whatever. He would get lots of interaction and from the waitresses, and then we would go to mini disco or whatever it was. As he got older, he would communicate with us, talk to us. What I fear is that those children that have become device addicted don't know they're addicted. So, with anybody who's ever suffered from an addiction, they understand there comes a point when there's a realization. There's a realization moment. Those children will never ever realize it because they have grown up with it. It's perfectly acceptable. It's perfectly okay. So how are they going to learn that it's an addiction? Because it's an addiction you actually gave them. You said, here you are, this is safe. Here you are, this is okay. So there's a huge problem here where adults have grown up with devices and phones. They sit in restaurants, 5 at a table, no one's talking. Everyone's looking at their phone and they're out socializing. That's not socializing, right? Putting the phones down in the middle of the room, in the middle of the table.
In a pot.
There's another situation exactly like that at work, at my work. The technicians come in and they do their lunch, right? And they've all been given assignments and jobs, etc. And they go do their jobs and then they come and they do their lunch. In their lunch, they're not socializing. What are they doing? They got their lunch, they're sitting there, they've got their little on each table. They've also got a phone and they're busy just watching their phone while they're eating their lunch. Nobody's talking. It's a silent dining room. There was a time when I used to walk in and you could hear the buzz, you could hear the conversations, you could hear, but this was just completely silent. And that's all I'm seeing these days. So you're right. It's a learned behavior, and it's something that is migrating to the kids, even on I don't even know what they do when they take their kids out and socialize. I mean,
Michael, I'll
going
tell
to a
you this.
restaurant.
The other day I was told, and I didn't believe it, and then I watched the video and I was checking it was AI because like my son's been like really educating on me. Check the shadows, look for this, look for that. I've become like a little magnifying glass expert now. But the thing that I would say is there was a 3-month-old baby sitting on its mother's lap. She was holding it, she had a phone, and the child swiped up. 3 months old. They hold your finger, they smile at you, they grimace when they're having
Amazing.
a poo. That's about as good as it gets normally, right? Now they can swipe up because the thing they were watching is finished. Swipe up. 3 months old. I was like, no way. And I was then told 100% this is quite normal. Now, are we saying, well, that's bloody intelligent, that's clever, wow, look at that, isn't that? And I'm like, no, don't praise that behavior, because that means we're now saying it's okay for a 3-month-old baby to sit on their lap and watch what their mum's watching, you know? I was like, no.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's
it's just
just
like, I
amazing
don't
how
know.
smart they are. We
tried,
didn't give them
I'm
credit.
getting so
we can talk about this
right?
all day, but
I
my
must be
friends, we
getting
do have
so
to.
old.
So we have to go sometime. Leanna, I see you. Thanks for joining us. Happy Thursday indeed, and happy Thanksgiving. I would take that thing.
Listen, it's been an interesting conversation, and I really hope you go away from this conversation and have another conversation, because that is all that I ask, that we
I hope
start
everyone
these.
gets a lot of mashed potatoes.
Oh,
And
speak
gravy
over,
is my favorite.
speak over your mashed potatoes about it. But really, I think getting children, young people's opinions, getting older people's opinions, getting people in the melting pot's opinions is the only way we're going to learn. And we have to do that. We can't just go, I can't see it, la la la, it's not happening to me. It is happening, it's real, and it's here. So,
Yeah,
guys, have a
we use
fabulous,
AI
fabulous
every day.
time.
Jackie, I see
Absolutely.
you. Welcome. Jay says people are
Jackie,
using
hi,
AI
Jay.
for companionships. They really are, Jay.
Yeah.
That's a problem, right? Look, I think that's a good place to leave it, Jay. I think unless my friends want to have one more, give a final comment before we leave. Stay human is what I say. And trust yourself. We can make friends. We can solve tasks. We can do things. I don't use AI for anything apart from making videos. Those videos, I can't make them otherwise. I don't check my documents, my writing with AI. I don't do anything. No, I only check. I only create videos. After that, ChatGPT. So what? So I don't know. What's your final word, Joni? I said, Selena. I know you. Let's let Selena go first because she might fall off. Selena, what's your final word in our conversation?
No, I mean, I think it's really needed. It's something we should continue to, maybe in the end, educate our children or grandchildren. Because for real, I mean, I've got my grandson. He's not yet 1 year, but he knows how to hold, the phone, the mobile upright. And so if he was almost like crying to say, put it on. So I think it's really needed. Whatever Paulette is talking about, we need to continue the conversation. Thank you so much for bringing it up.
Selena, our book still has to be written, Selena. Michael's done this chapter. So we need to write this health book, Selena. Honestly, it's 6 years, in a year.
Honestly,
Jonah's done hers too, by the way. Jonah's done her chapter as well.
Give me a call.
Okay, now
Please.
you know what? Okay, all right. I'll give you a call tomorrow. I promise you.
Sure, I'll call you, Selena. That's for sure.
Look, guys, we want to do the book. Let's get it done. Anyway, let's go on to Joni. Thank you, Selena. You take care. Have a good evening.
Bye,
Right,
Selena. Thank you for
Thank you,
coming.
darling. Thank you, Colette.
You're welcome, lovely.
Joni,
I'll be inviting you to my webinar next Tuesday.
I just want to wish all the Americans out there a happy Thanksgiving, because I honestly, the meaning behind Thanksgiving really was us getting our independence from Annie.
And me.
You haven't learned that yet, Joni. I'm still here. And we're still connected. Imagine that.
It's okay. And now look, our ancestors, we branched away, and now one of my best friends is a Native American here, and then I have Annie, who's a Nigerian Englishman, and honestly, the love that can come from me just having different friends across the world, not AI friends, real friends that you can. We are all not AI, just putting that out there, but real friends that really care about you. And, if something happened and you just weren't there for a month, like, or a week, like, I track you down to find your sister, friend. And so you're not alone. And so many of us feel alone. That is the biggest thing I've learned. It's a huge number of people feel alone. So you look at all these other people on like Facebook, like, oh, just doing Thanksgiving with everyone. It's not completely that for them is true, maybe. But I just want to say you're not alone.
No.
And anytime you need to call me 773-865-2992.
I think that's the key to remember, that what we see on YouTube, what we see on videos, what we see isn't everybody's real life. It's the bits they want to show you. They probably have downtimes where they're too lonely. They probably have downtimes where they too feel like the world isn't quite as fair as it should be. And I personally believe that we really, really need to get to that point where we talk to each other, we use each other, we make sure that each other are safe, well, and loved, connected, whether it's physically or whether it's just down the phone or in a room like this. Connection is everything.
I agree.
Yeah, just be like, get up off the floor and put a grape in your mouth. Get up off the floor, put a grape in your mouth. That's what my dad said when I was at my lowest point in my divorce, because I hadn't eaten in 2 days. And he was like, can you put the kettle on for some tea? And I was like, I don't know. But he said, get up off the floor, put grape in your mouth. I want to hear that chewing noise. And it saved me in that moment. Just having, and that's my dad. But, we can all save each other from like feeling pretty tragic.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Yeah,
it's absolutely true.
Well said, Joni. Well said. Mr. Calm, what do you want to leave us with, my friend?
I got a message for Elizabeth. Dump the mashed potatoes, pick up the sweet potatoes. It's much better for you. I think it's got a lot more vitamins in there too.
Yo, I mixed the two. I peeled both. It's a mixture.
Don't peel them. Just wash them and then, mix them together.
I
all
peeled
at the same
both.
time.
All right. But that's really, I love sweet potatoes. So good suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I
That's all,
put
Annie.
carrot as well. I put sweet potato, carrot, and mash.
I like that. Sweet potato, carrot, and cinnamon. Try
Ooh,
that.
try that.
This
Annie,
is
what's
smidge
your
of nutmeg.
final word, sir?
I'm saying, I think it's my sister Annie saying, you are not alone. Just reach out, and we're here for free.
Exactly.
And then the other one is it really is a choice. Whether we choose to interact with tech rather than people. It's a choice that we don't want to make, because being human has to be first for all of us. I agree with that. No, thank you everyone who's joined us. You've made our day. We've caught up now, Paulette, and I get to call Selena tomorrow, and we'll get to see Joni on Omar's semi-finals.
Hey, who you against? Who are you playing against?
Joni, who are you playing against? You don't know beforehand.
What time do you want
I was on mute. I'm sorry. I
Jamie,
don't
who
know
you
who
up
I'm
against?
playing against,
Because there was
honestly.
one girl who was so quick on the buzzer when I was
Melissa, her name is
Melissa.
Well,
Melissa.
because she was
She's
cheating.
like
She's
cheating.
cheating her ass off.
Yeah, how did she
I was
do
like,
it?
I knew exactly what she was doing.
What was she doing?
She had another person sitting next to her telling her all the answers, cheating. And I didn't cheat one time.
Omar, I'm not party to this.
Did
It's
you
not on my
beat her out?
show.
Did you beat her off? That's what I want to know.
I mean, I showed my kids that video, like 20 minutes. They're like, well, that girl's cheating. And I'm like, I know. And it's just fun. It's just fun. And I don't care if you want to cheat, fine. Cheat on a stupid LinkedIn game show.
Do come on that girl. I look forward to seeing you on the show, Joni, but do come along to
Well, I will be on the show and I will not be cheating.
Christiana's and Baby Loss is next. Join us.
Who likes cheating when they're playing a good game? That's an actual point of playing a good game.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Like I will lose sorry every time to my son.
Look,
right. So
is on half an hour. So we're talking about what is a cold uterus. I have no idea what it is, but we're gonna find out. Joni, that face of yours, honestly, don't look like that.
Did you say uterus?
A cold one, yeah. Apparently, that's one of the reasons people have miscarriages and baby loss. Selena, you were saying before we go.
I need to look that up right now.
She wants to speak to you tomorrow. Give her a call, she said.
Yeah, I promise I'll give you a call tomorrow.
What time do you want to call?
Afternoon. I think early afternoon. How's that?
Brilliant. Okay. These days I wake up in the afternoon too, so that's fine.
So do I. Look,
you guys wake up in the afternoon? I wake up at like 4 a.m. Oh my god!
That's because they work.
I hate everyone right now.
We're still awake at 4 a.m. That's the problem, Joni. I don't go to sleep to do about 8 o'clock.
No, but I like doing the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. work, like serious work, and then take a quick little nappy.
No, you enjoy your day, my friend. Thank you all for joining us.
You enjoy your day, Paulette, Annie.
Thank you, Paulette.
Thank you.
Michael, Selena, Christine, if you're still there.
Happy Thanksgiving, all of you.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And Pilgrims won, by the way. Pilgrims won.
Don't know who that is. That's your games. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
She retrained her heart to heal the young, turned her passion into purpose, work begun. Co-author of a movement, not-for-profits game, teaching kids that self-belief can ease the pain. Every child deserves to face their